Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday Bible Sketching. We are into May. I've been doing this for 5 months or so, which is, I don't know, that's pretty good for me. Keep up with something like this that long. Let's just refresh. Looks like we're rolling. Okay, very good. All right. Well, hope you're having a good week. It's nice. It's getting a little warmer out. Already shuffling some things around, so. Okay, well, this is a sketchbook, a different sketchbook I've had. I'll show you a couple of things out of here. This was from a life drawing class group, not class really. There's no instruction, but last week. So this is one that I lead here in town, and so this was done with pen and a little watercolor and a little bit of the white pen that I like to use. So that was pretty fun. I don't have too much in this sketchbook. I'm just kind of getting used to it and throwing it in my bag a little more. I like the brown tone like we do on this type of paper. They are called thumbnail sketches. And so this is basically working out an idea, like thinking about it just in a small way. You know, when we do our sketches during these Bible sketching things, I just go for a lot of times a big, a full sheet. I could maybe work out the ideas if I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I could possibly work them out smaller like this. I don't know, it kind of depends on the situation, but these, I was set up in a town for a competition, and I just wanted to work out my composition and my idea before I went right to painting it on the canvas. And I can usually kind of work it out on the canvas or panel without doing this, but this just helps me to look around a little bit and notice new things and sort of a warm-up. So anyway, that's all I got in here. Do I want to paint in here, draw in here? Sure. Let's draw on this sketchbook. Oh, and I've got my little, this is a camper magnet. I just threw it in there because we've been living in our camper. I'm at home, but we've been living out of our camper for just a little bit. See, I've got my, let's see which way. Life is better on the campsite. This is my wife's mug. I had to make it in the camper. My matcha tea this morning. What's that? So yeah, it's like we're still at home, but we've just been in the camper too. Sleeping in the camper at night. So anyway, we need to pull up the Bible verse. Let's see what is there. My phone has been doing it's been dimming a lot more than it usually does. Okay. Verse of the day, Bible Gateway. Matthew 18:15. If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault. Ooh, they would love that. Just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. All right. Yes, we live in such a time that people love hearing about what they're doing wrong, their sins. Let's go bigger. It really is too bad. That people cannot accept hearing their faults, hearing how they could be better, hearing what they're doing wrong. I mean, I don't like that. I don't like hearing that, but I guess I was raised differently. So I drew a basketball thing last time. And I'm going to draw another one. In basketball, a lot of times there's these, we talked about it yesterday in our basketball with the kids. You know, somebody does something you don't like, and you're like, you start getting all angry, and it's like, what? You pushed me. I don't like that. And the other kids, I didn't push you. You were in the way, or something. Everybody has to be right. Nobody likes to be wrong. Let's make this guy jutting his chin out. Kind of looks like lipstick with the dark pen, but whatever. Getting better at remembering which side of the hand the thumb goes on. That looks wrong though. I wanted it palm up. I want this guy really leaning in. Whoa. Big knee there. Been trying to be. We did that last week. There's so much repetition in this. I think last time I was trying to draw more smooth lines. I still have a lot of work to do with that. And just so we know, it's a basketball thing. Because how would you know these guys are basketball players? Yeah, neck's really sticking out. His arm proportions are, something looks weird there. It looks a little stretched out there, but oh well. It's not exactly the way a hoop would be, but you know. That doesn't look right. Maybe it's okay. Perspective, that's a challenging thing for some people. It is for me right now. I'm not really thinking about what space they're in. This ball's rolling away. Alright. So I'm sort of focusing. Alright, so I'm going to use these water pens, water brushes. It's got water in it already. And let's see, does this ink flow? Come on, water. There we go. So when that water starts coming out, so rather than using those markers that we often use, that I often use, I can add some value just by it's picking up that ink that I laid down. and sort of spreading it around. Kind of a fun way to paint, draw. That's a little different. Maybe his waist is too, something about the waist. This guy looks really stretched out. Oh well. Maybe when it dries I can go back in and put some lines in that help with that. But, so this is really more representing the truth of the matter, that a lot of times we do not like accepting our flaws. I'm going to pull that verse back up. If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. I think that's interesting there, just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. Let's dry that just a little bit so I can flip the page. Or maybe I'll draw on this other side. Even though all it's saying is just between the two of you, just something that pops in my mind is handle it lovingly. Handle the situation, consider how that person is going to react. And just think, how could I communicate this to them effectively? I had a situation recently where I'm not going to get too specific. I don't want to make it real public, but I just had a situation where somebody was wanting me to do something, someone I didn't know very well, and it was quite unfair what they were asking. And so I just kind of said, like, that doesn't seem right, and they didn't like that, and it just set them off. I mean, it made them angry. It was surprising how angry it made them. And I was kind of prepared for it because I had heard about how this person is, but I was trying to think, okay, how am I going to respond? How am I going to, because we had to work something out between us. And I think I mentioned probably back in the wintertime, we were reading the Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People book, which is excellent. And one of the tactics he says is apologize. Just apologize. Even if you know you're right, just apologize to the other person. What can they say back to you? A lot of times they kind of turn into being friendly. They, totally change their attitude about the situation. And I thought, I'm going to test this out. And sometimes it's easier on someone you don't know so well. So I just apologized that I misunderstood. I kind of just apologized for the way things were happening, and I made sure I gave no hint, because a lot of times we do that. We apologize, but we still hint at that we know we're right and they're wrong. So I made sure I did not do that. And as soon as I apologized, this person became very nice all of a sudden. Ew, freaky eyes on the guy I'm drawing. Um, they became very nice right after that. And it looked like to anybody else, it looked like, whoa, I weakened myself. I showed that I was wrong and they were right. And that's not, anybody else looking at the situation could see they were in the wrong. But it's sort of like I was able to manipulate the situation to create better relationship, to kind of get rid of the stress of the situation. That's one thing it really did for me. Even though I knew things were going to work out and all that, it was stressful. I don't like people being angry at me. And so the stress was gone and everything was great, and everything was resolved. So all that to say, just the way we handle things, the way we talk to people. It's very important. You guys are wearing shorts. I must have summer on my mind. Warm weather. Squiggly fingers, easy way to get them in there without worrying too much about it. Alright. So, pulling a guy aside, his brother. Saying, hey man, I think you need to change something. Weird shoes. You need to change your weird shoes, man. I don't know. I was just imagining two guys sitting on a park bench, a thoughtful conversation, working things out. We can do it calmly. I suppose another thing in these situations is pray. Lord, how should I approach this situation? Some hints of trees in the back. And just kind of wait and let the Lord bring the opportunity. As He sees fit. Alright, water brush time. I'm going to kind of get some dark going in the background. Sort of bring the guys out. See how that guy just pops forward. All I'm doing is trying to grab a little bit of that ink from the edge. And look at that, they just jump right forward. Pretty sweet. And their legs forward. And Just add little hints of. You can even just think about it. What do you want to bring forward? And then just put a little dark behind it. And you kind of alternate. So we have dark there. So I want to make sure that hair stays light. I can add some dark on the front edge of his hair, but just keep the top light so that you still have that separation. Now I've got light here, so I can put some shadow under his chin. So now I need to keep his shirt light. I can put some shadow maybe kind of down through here. So I'm alternating dark light, dark light. His arm. Here I'm kind of I'm using a little shadow on his arm and a little shadow on the shorts. A little bit of shadow under the hands. A shadow under there. Put a little shadow under his weird shoes. Alright, then come over and do it to this guy. I kind of want to put this guy's whole face in shadow because I don't like how I drew it. Let's see what I can do here though. Maybe I'll just mess it all up. Yeah, bring the eye sockets down. Maybe he's... Oh, this guy's just wearing sunglasses. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. And he's got a beard. We saved it. Alright. He's missing a hand here. That's what it looks like. See if I can put that in with it being a little wet. Thumb out. Yes. He's like, listen, man. Alright. Maybe some stripes here. Park bench. Wood slats. It's risky drawing with pen, isn't it? If you haven't done it, you feel like, oh, but I can't erase. What if I make a mistake? And to that I would say, leave it. Leave the mistake. Turn the mistake into something else, like the sunglasses. I find I prefer now, ever since I got into like sketching more with pens, it took a little, you know, as a back and forth, but eventually I've grown to really like it. I like the bold lines. I like it kind of forces me to not worry so much about errors. It gets me to just say like, okay, I gotta just dive in and do this. And maybe I can make a connection between that and our verse for today, just the pointing out. Of course, it's talking about sins, but I've kind of been thinking a lot about this with art and teaching art, or just helping other people with art. Kind of with my guitar background, you know, I know what it takes to master something. I know what it takes to be really good at something, to work hard at something. I know it also from just running. You know, that's like my thing. I love just learning skills, and I've noticed with artists, they're very afraid. You know, we all want help, but I notice a lot of artists are kind of afraid of critique, or even more so, just afraid of drawing in a way that might show flaw, you know, show their flaws, and it might look like they're not a good artist. And it holds them back. It keeps them stuck. I've watched some pretty good artists for a number of years now, kind of since I've been in it, and I haven't really seen them change at all. And I think it's that fear of looking like you're doing something like you're not good at it. You know, doing these Bible sketching things, I'm used to kind of putting myself out there in these types of ways. Um, and so it's not too hard for me. But I still have those feelings of like, ah, I drew something bad, you know, like that guy's proportions. I'm like, that didn't look very good. And it kind of makes me want to make excuses and all that. What else could we draw here? If they listen to you, you have won them over. Consider that possibility. I'm going to... I've got about 7 minutes. Because it says you have won them over. I'm just sort of thinking, do we win them over? Who wins them over? You know, it says you, but isn't God really the one who causes the change, who opens the doors, who does everything that is good? Ah, angry face. It's time to make excuses, David. Maybe it's because the eyes are slanted. Supposed to be praying hands. They're all just kind of jumbled together. That works. It's representational. If you know what it is, that's good enough for this. Some situations it's not. You need, that sounds lazy. Sounds like, for your profession. So for me as an artist, if I just said, well, that's good enough, probably wouldn't do so well. I've got a painting right now. I've been working on it for quite a long time for someone, and it's been challenging me so much, and the painting just I kept trying to change things, and it was like, nah, it just doesn't look right. And I remember I was talking with another artist in the area, very well-respected artist. He was a teacher and college professor. Um, he commented to me about one of the top portrait artists in the country or world right now, and just how that artist is always willing to start over. He'll just keep going until he gets what he needs it to be. And um, I know that raises all kinds of questions about perfection and all that, but um, um, anyway, it just stuck in my mind that, you know, he said, be willing to start over. And so I started over on this painting, and I just have not had a chance to get to it. I was thinking about what if I put the guy sinning here in the back. I'm not quite sure what to do to show that he's sinning. It's perhaps more of a female thing. Sorry to be sexist about the matter, but kind of gossiping. I like doing these distant characters that you can just kind of scratch them in and see what happens. We've talked about that before. So we've got the sinner people back there, and you're like, Lord, how can I address this situation? Should I say something? How can I say it lovingly? And I suppose another consideration is say something knowing they may not listen. You know, because the verse says, if they listen, you've won them over. If they don't, it doesn't really say, but at least you tried. You're working for doing kingdom work. I suppose on the other hand there is Proverbs that just kind of points out this person, you know, don't there's a bunch of Proverbs that talk about, you know, someone's not going to change, they're not going to change. Like, don't try winning someone over that there's just no way. They're just not going to get it. And you just know it. It's best not to even start. Maybe you say something, but you know, you just kind of say it, walk away, and just say, listen, I notice you're doing something. And, you know, I think another matter is I have experienced this, or I've known people have experienced this, but you point something out, and the person that's like, I know I need to change that. That's just hard. You know, I'm trying, I'm working on it. And the other, you know, if the other person just keeps pressing that situation, like, dude, but you got to stop. And it's like, I know. I've been using the word dude a lot more. Our boys use that word a lot more. I think doing the basketball thing, I end up talking this like trying to be cool like the young middle school boys. I remember always saying dude and man. It's bringing that back out in me. Alright, these are some cool sketches. I've enjoyed this kind of style. You know, I could even enhance it more. We're out of time, but you know, we can bring in some of the white pen again. Maybe if I even left some of that, didn't draw the dark lines. There's light coming through over there. Look how that creates just this dimension in space. So cool. Just these little tricks. This is why I don't know, a lot of people comment, oh, it looks really small, comment that it seems like I can draw or paint so fast, and they're like, how do you get all that down? And it really is like just what really matters in this drawing, what creates the greatest effect. You know, people think you need to do all this shading to get a three-dimensional effect, and I haven't done really any shading. I've done some shadow areas, but like this, you can feel a good dimension. Their bodies look a little flat maybe, um, but you at least see these layers. Just by doing some little tricks, you know. So in a half hour, I did 3 drawings. So these are fun ones. I like these. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're drawing. Don't be afraid to try these things, and also be praying about either things that maybe you need to point out to somebody else. Maybe there's something going on that you really need to say something. I kind of have something in mind that I maybe need to speak up about to someone. That's what this verse has reminded me of. And also just be willing ourselves, if somebody points out something to us, that we need to be ready to um, have soft hearts and change, and we will grow and be better for it, and we'll have better relationships, especially with the person that brings it to us. You'll create more of a sense of trust between the two of you. So yeah, well, thanks for watching again this week, and hope to see you next week here on Tuesday Bible Sketching. Ba-da-da-da-da. Need a theme song. Bible Sketching on Tuesday. Where's the button? Stop.